Welcome to The Real Money Coach. My name is Marlon Smith, and Tony and Michelle, they are doing their thing. And so they allowed me to come on back on. All right. And I'm excited to be here because we have a very special guest, Valerie Rhodes. Oh my goodness. This lady is going to just share some information about preparing for our taxes, right? Because check this out. 7 P's, prior proper planning prevents pitifully poor performance. Okay, can you do that? All right, 7 P's, prior proper planning prevents pitifully poor performance. Type it in the chat box. Type where you're watching from. I'd love to see who's here in the house. But this is really exciting because what you do today will dictate where you'll be tomorrow. And so we're bringing Valerie on, and I'm so excited. Before I bring her on, I am going to share her bio. I mean, she is phenomenal. And, she has really been someone who is a leader in the field. Okay. And what I really love about the Real Money Coach and this, Tuesday night program is the fact that we're bringing you individuals that really are movers and shakers, individuals that are doing wonderful things in their field of expertise. And so Valerie is going to share some insights with us. And this is going to be interactive because, again, I love to see who's here. We got Timothy Day from Durham, North Carolina. Hello, Timothy. Great to have you here. And you can type where you're watching from. What is your city? What is your state? Because, again, we want to have some fun tonight. Because if you're not having fun, why even show up, right? And so that's the value of this. And so, again, as you know, we're in it to win it. And so I'm very excited. So let me just give a little brief bio of this young lady who is really making a positive difference. Valerie Rhodes. I am so excited because Valerie Rhodes is a licensed CPA, an individual who is in Georgia, but yet has clients all over the United States. Okay. And she's been in business for 25 years. She has her MBA. She's licensed also in life insurance. And she's the owner of Rhodes Financial Services. Okay. And that's really great because she provides accounting, tax preparation, retirement planning, as well as financial planning to individuals and business owners. And so put on your thinking cap because you're going to have the opportunity to hear from Valerie, get some insights, get some wisdom. Because as we close out 2021, I'm here to tell you how you close out this year is going to flow right into 2022. And so you're in the right place at the right time. And again, very grateful to have you here. Oh my goodness, we got the Charlotte crew in the house, okay? And I see we've got Dr. Harris here. We got Adele Ryan representing South Carolina. Ruth, oh my goodness, this is really amazing. Ruth Bell, Charlotte in the house. What? So listen, okay, we got Georgia, we got South Carolina, we got North Carolina. Who else is out there? Is it just the Southeast? Is that all that's here? Come on, go ahead and give a shout out to your city, your state, because we want to see who is in the house. All right. And so with that, let's go ahead and bring up Valerie. Valerie, how are you doing, my sister?
Hello, everybody. Hi. I'm well.
Oh, awesome. We both got the little blue going on. Wow, we did not even color coordinate this, but that's
no, we didn't. Not at all.
You're right. When you're on the right frequency, look how things just blend in, how things flow. And so, Valerie, I'm so excited to have you here. I know you had a very long day. I know you have clients all over the United States. I got to ask you, what really was the inspiration for you saying, you know what, I want to do this? I mean, you've been doing it for 25 years. Talk to me about how did you get into this field?
Well, I've always had a passion for numbers.
Okay.
Back in high school, and that kind of started it. So it was trying to narrow it down from engineering or accounting. I had an accounting class. I liked accounting from taking that class, but I like working with my hands, creating things. So that was the engineering side.
Got it.
So I kind of narrowed it down. I went to a crash course in engineering up at UMass Amherst in Massachusetts, and for the summer. And I was like, I think I'm going to go with accounting.
Right.
And so I visited some of the top CPA firms just to kind
Wow.
of get an idea of what they do,
Yeah.
from inside. And that's kind of what I decided I wanted to do. That's what
And
I
so
want.
did you work for an accounting firm first? I mean,
I
or
did.
did you?
Well, I did not. I did
Oh,
not. My right out of college, um, I thought about it, and then I learned how they kind of just work you, spit you out in the years. So I was like, I don't know if that's what I really want to do.
okay.
So I took a couple of jobs out of college. I did fund accounting, and I worked for an insurance company. And Lord just brought me right back to public accounting. Yeah.
Okay.
And normally that never happens. They don't bring in people, that's been working in industry. They
Okay.
want you right out of school. And
Oh boy.
so he navigated that, and I was like, okay, I surrender. So I went into public
Right.
accounting, and I worked in public accounting for 3 years in Massachusetts, and then I transferred to Atlanta, and then I gave them probably a year and a half because I came down here with them, and so. But accounting is my life. I love it. I love accounting.
Wow. Wow. And I love what you said about, just, God will do that, right? And
Yes.
it's funny, as you were talking about engineering, I have an electrical engineering degree.
Okay. Okay.
and my family's still trying to figure out what am I doing with that degree. Okay. But I, like you said, I put in my time. I worked at
Yes.
IBM, HP, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
what I want our viewers to understand is, it's about you following your heart,
Yes.
and you being a woman of faith. It's about really, connecting with God, spending time, God, what is thy will for my life?
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
I'm very excited that you're talking about that, because I know we have people who are watching and they may be thinking to themselves, okay, what is, my purpose? What am I here
Mhm.
to do?
Right.
And you can hear, even in, Valerie's, opening and my opening, sometimes the road may not be straight and narrow.
Correct.
It may be, right? Am I right, Val? I mean, it
That's
could be,
correct.
okay, some curves thrown in
Absolutely.
there. You got to go under the table, right?
Yep.
But so let me ask you, Val, what has been most rewarding? You've been in business for 25 years. What's been most rewarding?
Um, I think the most rewarding for me is helping those that don't understand. Because I when I work with my customers, my clients, I like to help them to understand. I don't want them to just have a tax return prepared for me. No, let's sit down so you can understand what is
Oh,
in this, because you're signing this and you
okay.
need to know what's in it. And so that help, that's really rewarding for me, because most people are fearful of taxes,
Yes.
they don't want to know about bookkeeping. Just do what you do. No, you need to understand. Education is
Wow.
power.
That's right.
So that's rewarding for me to make sure, especially our people, people of color.
Right,
I
right, right.
love to make sure that and all people, but I'm saying, a lot of us don't have that education, and I like to impart that in them to make sure that they're understanding, not, just taking what I say, but understanding it and how it's impacting their life or their business. So,
My goodness. I mean, that's really going the extra yard. I mean,
oh yeah,
so much easier. It could just be, hey, let me just prepare it and you sign. Okay. I mean, I'm like,
yeah,
whoa. I mean, for you to take that extra time, that
absolutely,
just, yeah, it says a lot about who you are. And
absolutely.
I'm
Yes,
sure you get word of mouth. I mean, is it
yes,
referrals?
yes,
Right.
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
So for our viewers, just realize this: when you do your best, people know when you really have your heart in it. And I mean, I'm just
Hmm.
listening to Val. She's like, because the question was, what's been most exciting? And she's like, look, I love to help people. I
Yes,
like to really
absolutely.
have them understand. And
Hmm.
so, again, I want our viewers to understand that whatever your dream is, whatever your passion is, do it to the best of your ability.
Hmm.
Because when you do, it's like, man, more opportunities come.
That's
And
right.
so I just want to say thank you, Val, for sharing that. And I
Mhm.
know you are tonight. We're going to be talking about preparing, for taxes. And I know some people are like, man, it's the holidays. What are y'all talking about? But you can never prepare too early, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And so,
Absolutely.
we got, as I opened up, I said 7 P's. Prior proper planning prevents pitifully poor performance.
Hmm.
And I love Stephen Covey, quadrant two living. Quadrant two living is where basically you are doing things that are important, but not urgent.
Hmm.
I'm going to repeat that. Quadrant two living is doing things that are important, but not urgent. And I get it, right now, wow, preparing for my taxes, and Val's going to share some information that's going to make a difference. And this is your time. So if you have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat box. Everything's fair game. Okay. At the Real Money Coach, we're all about sharing information. And again, I know Tony and Michelle, they'll be back next week, and the heart, the passion that they bring to this. And so, the beautiful thing about it is 7 P's, prior proper planning prevents pitifully poor performance, because if you don't take care of the important things and time keeps on moving, what happens is, next thing you know, the pressure, the urgency is going to become stressful for you. So what we're talking about is, we're talking about going ahead and getting some things in position now, right? So that you can be prepared for the future. So Valerie, when we talk about preparing for taxes and whatnot, you have some insights you'd like to share. Please, what does it take to prepare now for the future?
Well, the thing that I like to tell everyone is that you got to make sure that you are, you know, make sure that you have all of your documents in place. Okay. So if you, especially coming off of the different stimuluses that we've had, so I need, you to make sure that if you got a stimulus in 2020, that was related back to, um, I'm sorry, earlier 2021, that's related back to this tax return that we're about to file. So make sure of the amount that you received, okay? Because the whomever is going to prepare your taxes, they're going to need to know how much you actually received, because their 2020 or your 2019 tax returns were used to determine how much how much you would get in that stimulus, okay, whether you were eligible or not. So we will need you to make sure that you know that amount. Okay, so if you are an individual, um, you other than your personal information, you want to have, of course, your social. If you're going to someone new, they're going to need your social. And if you do direct deposit, they're going to need that information as well. If you have dependents, you're going to, oh, and your birth date. For all of your dependents, you're going to make sure that you have all their personal information, their social, their birth dates. You're going to have that information for someone that you're going to be working with new. Now, if you're employed, you will be getting a W-2. Those are due by the end of January. January 31st is the deadline for those. So you will be getting a W-2 from your employer that's going to provide, your total wages that you earned for the year, the amount of taxes that you paid for federal, state, Social Security, and Medicare. You're going to get that statement. And if you're unemployed, you're going to get an unemployment statement. So you're going to need to have that document as well, because that income is taxable. If you are self-employed, you're going to get, and you are providing services to customers, you're going to get 1099s from those different entities. If you receive payments through a processing company, you are going to get 1099Ks, which is just a statement that shows all the income that you took in via credit card or debit card. So those are different types of documents that's going to validate your income. But we'll talk about the self-employed just a little bit later. In terms of your interest income, if you have a savings account, a money market account, you're going to get a statement of 1099 INT. If you have investments, you're going to get a 1099 DIV for dividends. Okay. So you want to have those documents prepared, ready to, to provide to your tax preparer. If you've taken money out of your 401k or your IRA, you will have a 1099-R statement, and you will need that as well. Now, if you utilize the tax strategy that they presented to everyone last year, where that you could take out up to $100,000, and you would not be penalized of it for taking that money out, and you could be taxed on that over 3 years. You will need to have that information as well. Okay, if you took it out last year, and if you didn't pay taxes on the whole amount, you decided to tax it over the 3 years, well, you still owe 66% of that going forward. So you'll need to have that information ready for whomever is going to be doing your taxes. Okay. We talked about, okay, so if you have a high deductible life insurance, you may have an HSA, okay, a healthcare savings account. If you utilize that to pay any of your expenses, you're going to get a statement, so you'll need to provide that as well. And of course, those funds that you use will have to be used for medical expenses. Otherwise, it's going to be taxable. Okay. So you're going to make sure that you have that information as well. And other income that you may want to have documents for would be if those of you that gamble, you may get a W-2G showing how much that you earned in income. Um, Jury duty, if you served on jury duty, you may get, you're going to get some income from that. You also have to report that. Prizes and awards, trusts, any other royalty income that you may get, you'll get a 1099 miscellaneous for that. So you got to make sure that you have all those specific documents. Also, if you got a state tax refund, okay, you're going to get a 1099 for that. That will definitely have to be submitted as well. If you itemized your deductions, it could be taxable. Okay. But if you use the standard, then it may not be taxable. So you just have to have the document so that whomever prepare your taxes will be able to determine that for you. Okay, so in terms of deductions, okay, if you own a home, okay, so you're going to get a 1099, 1098, I'm sorry, statement from your mortgage company, and that's going to provide you with the total amount of interest that you paid on your mortgage for the year. You get to deduct that, as well as it should, if they are doing that, if they're paying your escrow, paying your real estate taxes from your escrow, they're going to provide that information as well. So you get to deduct that as well. Okay. There are also some energy credits that you can, if you're purchasing solar panels, hot water heater, that sort of thing, you can get credits on your taxes as well. Okay. If you have a second home, you may get another 1098, I'm sorry. And you also can write off that interest as well. Next, we'll talk about charitable donations. Any cash that you donate to, you know, charitable charitable organizations, churches, you can write that off. You want to make sure you keep your records. Of course, if you should be getting a statement of the amount of monies that you donated throughout the year. Also, non-cash donations, such as if you donate clothing or household items to charity, they generally will give you a statement, but you will have to put in, what exactly you donated. So make sure you do that, and as well as try to get an estimate of how much the value of those items. And you can use different softwares like It's Deductible. Um, that will help you to kind of figure out, I've had it so for this amount of time, I bought it for this, and it'll kind of help you come up with, maybe a flea market type estimate of the value of those goods. But you need to provide a estimate of what those items would be worth. Okay. And another thing that a lot of people don't realize is they can also deduct the mileage if you help out, do charitable work. You can deduct the miles that you travel to get to that organization to help out. Those are deductible as well. If you pay health care or insurance to, fees like copays or any other medical expenses, you get to deduct that as well. Now, if you have health insurance through the marketplace, a lot of people know it as Obamacare, you will get a 1095A. And generally, those that get the insurance through the marketplace, it will be based off of your income, okay? Well, your anticipated income, and you may get an adjustment to help out with that insurance. At the end of the year, when you prepare your taxes, um, if you don't have the marketplace insurance, you no longer have to um, state whether you have insurance anymore. We used to have to do that in prior years, but we don't have to do that anymore as of last year. But if you're in the marketplace, you do, because they're giving you a premium credit. And so they have to reconcile that, because they were basing it off an estimated income that you were anticipating getting. And then at the end of the year, they're going to reconcile to see if you actually got that. And you may not have to pay any of that credit back. But if you made more um, than the estimate was, then you may have to pay some of that back in your taxes. Okay. Child care expenses. You can deduct child care expenses, but you must get the providers, not only their name, but you got to get either their social or their tax ID number, so that you can claim those expenses on your return. Okay. And you can deduct expenses for the care of your children up to age 13. Okay. And educational expenses. If you have someone that's going to be a part of your tax return, that's in school. If they're going for their bachelor's degree, they can deduct expenses for 4 years on their tax return. But they have to be related to the tuition. Okay. Room and board is not deductible. Okay. So if you get a scholarship and the scholarship is going to cover your tuition and your room and board, well, the portion that is for your room and board is going to be considered income to you. Okay. So you will have to pay taxes on that amount of income.
So, Valerie, let me ask you. I mean, this is amazing. You're like a walking encyclopedia. Okay. And so, my head is spinning a little bit. All right. And so, what's the best way, with all that you're sharing? It's very, you're just like, because this is what you do, right?
Right.
This is your gifting. This is what you've been doing for a number of years. For the individuals who are watching either the
Hmm.
live or the recorded version of this, what advice can you give them? I mean, it sounds like number one I heard is you got to keep good records.
Yes.
That seems like that is really
That is key.
absolutely key.
That
Now,
is key.
do you what I mean, and with all your clients, do you think keeping things like electronically or paper in a file cabinet drawer, or maybe having both, so do you have backup? I mean, talk to me, because again, it seems like having good records is the key. and
Yes.
and you mentioned like the various stimulus loans
Mhm.
and grants and things of that nature. My understanding is that some people were not able to receive funding because, one, they didn't maybe have their paperwork. Number two, maybe
Mhm.
they didn't have a relationship with their tax person or their banker, right? And so, talk to us about number one, the paperwork. I mean, the
Okay.
keeping good records. What advice do you have?
Well, I mean, it all depends on the individual. I mean, um, I try to, kind of stay away from paper now. Although I'm an accountant, we love paper, but
Right.
I'm trying to, embrace the paperless. If you're diligent enough to get the documents and maybe create your folder to put all your tax documents in so that you can retrieve them, that's one thing. But if you're not as diligent, as they come in the mail, create a bucket, one of those little um, expandable folders,
Right.
and all your tax documents that come in, just put them in there, as they
Okay.
come in.
Okay.
Most of them will be labeled, for tax information or
Right.
tax
Good.
documents.
Great
So
distinction.
put them there so that you will have them. Because I've spoken with a lot of people and they don't even remember, like last season. Well, did you get the stimulus? I don't remember.
Wow.
Well, you got to go back and find out, because you might not have gotten the whole amount. Depending on your income, your situation, you might not have gotten the whole stimulus amount, and it's very important that it be the correct amount. And another
Okay.
thing I want to say is, you don't want to, in the climate that we're in right now, you want to make sure that you have all your documents before you file, because the IRS is so behind right now. They haven't even processed 2020's amended returns yet. So you don't want to get caught up in that bucket that you file and then it's like, oh, I forgot a W-2, and then you got to do an amended return. And if you do a refund, you got to wait for that, you know.
Right.
So
Okay.
you could be waiting a year for it, like now, what I'm saying, because
Yes.
they still haven't processed it. And I won't knock the IRS, because they've had to pivot a lot last year. I mean, they had to do with 4 stimuluses. They had to also turn around and then adjust for unemployment. They had to turn around and then, adjust to do the child tax credits and then issue them on a monthly basis and still keep it rolling, processing tax returns.
Exactly.
So my hat's off to them, and they're short staffed and they're dealing with COVID as well. So,
Okay. Yeah.
um, so you know, people have to be mindful of that.
Okay. Thank you.
So I won't knock them for that, but just letting you know that they are that backed up. So
Okay.
if you gonna, when you do your returns, make sure that you have all your documents. Um, if you forgot about, you worked at this smaller job, and you only there a little while, wait till you get all your documents before you file, so that you
Okay.
won't have to be in that position to have to do an amended return.
Wow, that's great. I mean, that's really wonderful. And one of the things, Valerie, I would love for you to share, your contact details, because again, the fact that you said, hey, I'm committed to making a positive difference, to helping people understand,
Mhm.
education, and that really says a lot about you. Not all people that have the, are in your field do that, because that's
Mhm.
extra time. And
Exactly.
so, for people that want to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, I do have a website you can go to. It's rfs-cpa.com. You can reach me there. You can reach me at my number, 770-484-6580. And those are the best contacts to get me at this time. Yeah.
Okay, and that website again?
It's rfs-cpa.com. Okay.
Got it. I mean, that's very important that people can check it out. And I just went there. Yeah, Rhodes Financial Services. Okay, and so yes, please, 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 go ahead and check this out. Well, I'm sure Chris will put it up on the screen as well. But
Okay.
to me, that's what it's all about. It's about each one of us really aligning ourselves, right? Creating the dream team, right? I can't do everything. Val can't
Mhm.
do everything. Chris can't do
Exactly.
everything, right? Tony and
Exactly.
Michelle can't do everything. But what you do is you do what you do the best, connect with others to do the rest.
Mhm.
So I think, that is really amazing. And again, RFS for Rhodes
Financial
Financial
services.
Services, right?
Mhm.
Dash CPA, okay?
Mhm.
That stands for Certified Public Accountants.com. So rfs.cpa.com. And you're going to be very impressed. The website looks wonderful. And that's really what it's all about. Each one teach one, each one reach one. And so one of the things I want to say Val, as we're about to wind up, what what would you say for those that are listening, and maybe have children, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And what can they do to maybe help their children get in the process of understanding the importance of, keeping good records? Can you start too early? I'm just curious.
Absolutely not. They can get them in that process by, sharing with them. Like I said, if you're the person that's gonna get the paper, have them be in charge of, putting it in the buckets for you, so they
Right.
know, okay, so
Mm,
these are the tax documents. I need you to, put them where they're supposed to
good.
go. They can start by filing those and getting them ready, and just kind of trying to explain to them what this whole process is, because a lot of people don't really know.
Right.
um, the process that we have to go through being in America, that we have to file taxes every single year, and
Good.
helping them understand that, okay, you get a job, but in this country, because we have freedom and we have all the different things that we have in our country, we have to pay taxes. So
Right.
they understand what those lines on their pay stub means. We
Right.
pay, what I'm saying, and then just giving them some of that
Okay. That's
help
great.
them get
Tell
involved. Hmm.
Thank you so much. Tell me about a success story. One of your clients, that really, as a result of working with you, there's some value in what you bring. I love to hear. Just give me one, because I want our viewers to understand. It may seem overwhelming, right? But again, someone like a Val who's really coming from a great space, as far as heart-centered leadership, she is going to walk this process out with you. And
Yes.
so, share with us a success story. I'm curious.
I'll share this young lady that my youngest son referred to me.
Okay.
He's actually he's in the military, and it's one of his classmates. They all studied together in college, went through ROTC, and
Yes.
so he referred her to me, and so she had rental properties, because she was starting to get into rental property space, and wasn't quite sure how to go, and what she needed to do. So basically walked with her. Took a minute, and like I told her, okay, now this is your first time with me, so we really got to get to know each other.
Mm,
And it's a process, and I'm going to ask you a lot of questions,
right.
but this is part of the process. And so we did that, and we did it all electronically, because we're still in COVID. And she was amazed. And she's still sending me people now. She's
Wow.
she told my son, she says, I am so surprised why didn't you tell me your mother did this before? And
Right.
I didn't expect this much of a refund. And she asked
Wow.
me all these questions, and she put all this together, and I was totally blown away with the
Look
refund
at
that I
that.
received.
Look at that.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's priceless, right? I mean, this young lady,
absolutely.
right? I mean, you could just hear her joy, right? And I
Mm,
know that makes you
she's
feel good.
elated.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
She
then
even
that's,
referred her ex-husband to me. So
oh
that
my
should tell you
goodness.
something right
Right,
there.
right. I love it. I love it. Boy, ex-husbands coming in. Oh my
Ex-husband.
goodness.
She
What?
referred her
What?
ex-husband to me. So
Man,
yes.
that is awesome. And I want to welcome Andre. Andre's joined us. Welcome, Andre. Glad to have you here. And so, yeah, thank you, Valerie. I mean, this is powerful. And I guess, tonight we just wanted to really showcase the power of planning in advance. And
Mhm.
so, some of the nuggets of wisdom, is really, yeah, have your paperwork in order,
Yes.
connect with someone, an expert, somebody who's really committed to helping you
Right.
grow. Okay. And I think number three is understand that doing things that are important before the deadline
Yes.
reduces so much stress,
Yes.
right? And so that's why we're talking about these things right now. And so with that, Valerie, I want you to, any closing comments, any thoughts, anything you wanted to share. And we're encouraging people to please go to R for Rhodes, F for financial, S for services. So RFS dash CPA, all right, certified public accountant.com. So RFS CPA.com. We put that in the chat box as well. Go check it out. I'm sure Val will, definitely be open, willing to have a free, session with you, so that she can better understand. She said, absolutely. And so that she can better understand, what you're about, what you're doing. And so, Val, I'd like for you to, share any closing thoughts.
What I just like what was said by Marlon, just make sure you plan ahead. Make sure you have your ducks in a row. Make sure you have all your documents. Take the time. I know a lot of people rush to get their taxes done, but make sure you have all your documents. Plan ahead of time. And if you're going to do something that's going to impact your taxes, make sure you reach out and talk to someone to plan before you do it, because after you do it, you're kind of too late. So yes, planning, preparing, and planning. That's what we need to do with taxes. Okay, it makes your
Wow.
life a whole lot better.
That's it. That's it. Thank you, Val. Thank you. And I see we got Evelyn that came on. Thanks, Valerie. Awesome job. That's what she said. And Ruth said, thank you, Valerie, for so much valuable information. And Marlon's good to see you. Hey, I'm really excited. And, again, if you want to type any thoughts, any feedback, any insights, revelations, feel free. You can type it in the chat box. But again, what Val shared, some of us, numbers may not be our thing. But again, you want to align yourself with someone like a Val, right? And again, she's more than willing to share. She have the one-on-one. I mean, just think about it. Her son's classmate, was just like, wow, I had no idea that I could get a refund of that amount. Again, because she's working with an expert, someone who is skilled, someone who loves this. Now, that's not my thing. That may not be your thing, but that's Val's thing. Right. So that's the value of connecting with, again, heartfelt leaders. So with that being said, I want to say thank you on behalf of the Real Money Coach. We're very excited that you were here with us. And remember, what you do today will dictate where you'll be tomorrow. Enjoy the holidays. Find some time. I don't know about you, but it seems like I'm even busier now than ever. This week has been already busy. And again, next week, you'll have Tony and Michelle. They'll be back here for the Real Money Coach. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to go home, but you have to get the heck out of here. In all seriousness, I want you to really understand we appreciate you, we value you, and we celebrate you. The Real Money Coach. And remember, what you do today will dictate where you'll be tomorrow. In closing, remember this: a vision without action is just a dream. A lot of action without a vision is merely a passing of time. But a vision with action can change the world. Stay blessed.